Okay, we're going to use an animation called the Charging Interactive, which is part of the Physics Classroom website, and it's going to help us understand how we can charge objects by conduction and induction. So to begin with, just refresh the page, because you can see we've got a balloon that's going to be charged up to begin with, and that balloon, once becomes charged, we're going to use that to help us charge some metal blocks. So before we start, we're going to expand up the screen, and you can see here two metal blocks. Both of them have the number 0 on them, which means that they have 0 net charge on, so they're both neutral. However, by moving a balloon around that's already negatively charged, we can make that negative charge on the metal block move away to one end without even touching the balloon onto the metal block. We have redistributed that charge. The total is still 0 on both of them, but by being able to do this, we can then bring about charging by conduction. First of all, let's move the balloon out of the way a minute. We're going to move the blocks so that they're just touching. Okay, and when the balloon is right over on the left hand side, all of the charge, because these two blocks are touching, the charge can run to the far right hand side. And you can still see that the total charge is 0, even though we've got -8 units of negative charge on one side, -8 on the other. Now another thing we've got to use here is a ground, which means a point that's at 0 potential. And we use something called an earthing spike here, and we can drag this around the screen. And if we touch the earthing spike to the -7 end of this combination of metal blocks, we can allow the excess negative charge to run down to Earth, and that will effectively reduce the amount of negative charge at that end. So let's just do that. You can see the negative charge running down. The number here is dropping, and then when we take the earthing spike away, instead of having 0 charge overall, we've now got +10 and -1, so we've got +9 units. So we've changed the amount of charge in total on the two. And if we were to separate those two blocks, let's say bring this one over here, this is now charged with +9 and this is at 0. So we've changed the charge on one of them by a combination of the repulsive forces due to the balloon and the contact with the earthing rod. And you can see how the proximity of the balloon changes the effects. If I bring the balloon down here, let's bring the earthing spike out of the way for a minute, put the balloon in the middle, then it starts to rebalance the negative charge on both sides, and the further away it is, the less influence it has. It still has an influence, but it's not as great when it's far away as when it's right up close, and that's what you'd expect. Now there's a little challenge here for you. If you go onto the play section, you are now going to be given a certain amount of time, or rather it's going to time how long you take to achieve the following results. So at the bottom of the screen you've got two numbers. On the blue block you're being asked to try and get 0 units of charge, and on the right hand side +6. And you have at your disposal the balloon and the earthing spike, and you've got to somehow redistribute the charge on those blocks to match the goal. And when you do that, you get 1 star. You've then got to try and get the next one and the next one, and then record your total time. So the first thing I would do is, when you start, it starts off with -3 and 0 in this case, but we want to get a total of +6. So how can we do that? We want to somehow remove negative charge from this system. So we can do that by putting the two blocks together, and we want the total of the two sides to equal +6. I'm going to bring the negative charge of the balloon to one side. Now it hasn't changed the charge that's on the blocks, but it means that the negative charge is now grouped at one end. Now I bring the earthing spike up, And now we're starting to change the charges. Let's see what we've got now. +8 and -3, so that's a difference of +5. We're almost there. We want to get +6 in total. So we take a bit more negative charge off. Now we've got a difference of +6. But that's not quite organised in the way we want it here. So what we've got to try and do is take some of the negative charge from the right hand side and bring it across to here. So we can do that by we just relocate the two metal blocks and then bring our balloon. Now we've got to reposition the balloon so that we can try and get, I'm going to move that over this way, so the green should start to climb up as more negative charge get pushed over to the right. It's almost there, probably gone a bit too far. I've gone too far this time, so let's see if I'm almost there now. +8 and -2. It's getting closer. And there you can see it's just reaching it. When it gets to that match that we've got at the bottom brightens up a little bit. And then we've got to separate the charges at that moment. It's not quite there. Almost there. Oh, too quick. Done it. Okay, we've got it eventually. So that's the first one. And now we can go on to the next one. So see how you get on with those.